Wraps up. What's next for the more than a dozen Americans who evacuated the cruise ship at the center of a deadly outbreak? Plus, the latest setback in the ongoing war with Iran after that country responds to a ceasefire proposal. And in Oregon, how the weekend weather is causing a traffic mess ahead of permitting season at Multnomah Falls. And thanks so much for joining us on this special edition of KGW News. I'm John Adams. It turned out to be a gorgeous Mother's Day with sunny skies and some very comfortable temperatures out there. And the summer-like weather we've been seeing so far is going to continue heading into the upcoming week. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri joining us tonight to let us know how hot things are going to be getting this week, Joe.
Well, John, I'm going to classify tomorrow as comfortable. I'm forecasting highs in the low 80s, and we go from comfortable to maybe a little bit uncomfortable for some of us heading into Tuesday as highs reach close to 90 degrees. Out along the Oregon coast, all these people out here, yeah, those are some surfers that are braving the cool ocean temperatures. Saw one guy just cruising along about 5 minutes ago. Along the beach right now, we're seeing a temperature of 58 degrees. This is from our Visit Seaside camera. You go up in the Oregon Cascades, you're looking at some bare bones in terms of ground out there. Not much in terms of snow cover outside Timberline Lodge with a temperature of 39 degrees. And you're going to be pretty much warm all over the place here the next couple of days. The coast, the valley, or the mountains will have a strong ridge of high pressure developing here the next few days. So our temperatures are really going to start to soar here the next couple of days. So tomorrow morning, a little bit of some cloud cover about 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I think it kind of hugs a little bit longer down in the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley. But going into the later part of the afternoon, we're basically going to be looking at clear skies heading into the morning hours and all the way into the later part of the day. That holds true for Tuesday as well. But again, Tuesday is going to be pretty, I wouldn't call it warm. I'd call it downright hot. I'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. Backups, congestion, and no place to park. These are issues drivers are facing at Multnomah Falls this spring as the nice weather has more people checking out the falls earlier in the year. Our Jay Coulter went to the falls to check it all out.
Yeah, we ourselves ran into a parking lot issue today. The lot was closed coming in from Portland, so we had to drive further east, loop around, and come back into the parking lot on the other side. And we weren't the only ones to do so. Oregon's tallest waterfall, a popular tourist destination.
Michigan, California.
But the relatively small parking lot can prove frustrating.
When we were driving past, I kept saying, you know, this is such a beautiful, clearly tourist scenic area that I would have thought they would have provided more parking and ability to view it.
Amy Rutherford, also visiting from California, says on the drive-in, the gate was closed and she was routed around.
Didn't think we were going to get to come to this, but on our way back, we were able to get into the parking lot, just barely.
It can also create confusion for the drivers coming from that way. You know, they're like switching lanes and stuff and probably don't know what to do, especially if they're from out of town.
A Multnomah Falls parking spot, a coveted piece of asphalt.
So I am guarding a spot for my friends to park so that we could hike the falls.
Some opting to take the shuttle instead. Have you seen the parking lot fill up since you've been here?
Yeah, for sure. Earlier, there was only like maybe a couple cars, like 20% of the lot now. And our bus driver did say like it gets busier throughout the day. So yeah, go early.
But be aware, Columbia Area Transit posted an alert at the beginning of the month saying, quote, due to extreme congestion and safety concerns, CAT buses may be forced to bypass the Multnomah Falls stop if the parking lot is full and traffic is backed up onto I-84. An ODOT spokesperson told KGW that the nice weather this spring has made the area particularly crowded before the summer's timed parking permits go into effect Memorial Day weekend. That, combined with the closed historic Columbia River Highway, have made for higher congestion than normal. But they expect relief when the road reopens and the permits go into effect in just a couple weeks. And the permits actually go into effect on the Friday before Memorial Day, so that's May 22nd. Back to you.
All right, Jake, thanks so much for that report. Today, more than 100 passengers started making their way off a hantavirus-stricken cruise ship. The Hondias anchored off of the coast of the Canary Islands in Spain early this morning, and crews in hazmat suits began the complicated task of screening and evacuating passengers off that ship.
All the passengers are asymptomatic. They have confirmed this issue that all the passengers are asymptomatic. In this unprecedented operation is going as planned.
The 17 Americans that were still on board the vessel are now heading to Omaha, where they will be observed at the National Quarantine Unit at the University of Nebraska Medical Center campus. The World Health Organization says 6 confirmed cases of hantavirus and 2 suspected cases have been linked to the outbreak on the ship. 3 of those people have died, including 2 who died while aboard the vessel. Disturbing security footage has been released showing the moment a Frontier Airlines jet struck and killed a pedestrian on the runway Friday night. Although the following video stops just before the moment of impact, we do want to warn viewers that what you're about to see may be difficult to watch. Well, you can see a white speck in the footage that appears to be that pedestrian as they walk towards the runway. Moments after, it seems as though they are on the runway and the Frontier plane quickly approaches and strikes that person. They were pronounced dead on scene. The Denver airport said 12 people reported minor injuries and 5 were taken to local hospitals. President Trump is criticizing the Iranian regime, calling their response to the U.S. plan to end the war totally unacceptable. NBC's Molly Hunter has the latest details.
Tonight, Iran finally sending a response to the latest U.S. peace proposal. The Pakistani prime minister acting as mediator, announcing they have received Iran's response, and a Pakistani official adding it has now been sent to the U.S. Tonight, President Trump on Truth Social calling Iran's response totally unacceptable and saying, quote, "I don't like it," while not sharing any details. According to Iranian state media, the Iranian response focused on maritime safety, traffic in the Strait of Hormuz, and ending the war, with no mention of nuclear weapons, despite President Trump's characterization of the U.S. proposal earlier this week.
It's an offer that basically said they will not have nuclear weapons.
NBC's Kristen Welker asked the Energy Secretary directly this morning.
So it's possible an interim deal might not address all of the concerns regarding Iran's nuclear program.
Certainly that's got to be possible.
Traffic through the Strait of Hormuz picked up this weekend. A Qatari liquid natural gas tanker made it through for the first time since the war started. But what remains unclear is who exactly the U.S. is negotiating with.
The first set, the A team is gone, the B team is gone, and part of the C team is gone. But I think we're dealing with people that have a certain power.
For the first time, Iranian officials have publicly detailed the Supreme Leader's injuries to his back and kneecap in the attack that killed his father, maintaining he remains in good health, though he has not been seen in public since the war started.
Gas prices shot up 41 cents over the past 2 weeks. The national average price of regular grade now sits at $4.55 per gallon. That's more than $1.53 higher than before the start of the war with Iran on February 28th, and $1.33 more than what the price was 1 year ago. According to the Lundberg survey, wholesale gas prices greatly exceeded price hikes at the pump. Well, an update now to the Pine Mountain fire burning south of Bend in Deschutes National Forest. As of today, the fire is 70% contained. A more accurate mapping of the fire has it nearly 2,600 acres. Today, teams are getting help in tackling fires along the hard-to-access areas of the forest. This wildfire has been burning since Thursday after a planned burn grew out of control. Well, back in the metro, firefighters were called earlier this afternoon to put out a garage fire in Lake Oswego. This was in the area of Southwest Inglewood Drive off of Boone's Ferry Road. Firefighters were able to put out the flames before they could spread to a nearby home. And a traffic notice for people in Portland. The lower deck, bike, and pedestrian path of the steel bridge is closed tonight. PBOT says it's because the safety gates were damaged. There's no reopening time estimate at this point, so stick to those alternate routes.
Every 10 square foot can kind of be its own oasis, though. Even with this many people out here, there's a lot of winding paths, beautiful plants kind of intersecting them. So every piece can be found.
Well, a moment of peace for well-deserved mothers and mother figures in Portland. Today, Crystal Springs Rhododendron Garden held its annual Mother's Day show and sale. The group's members and the public were invited to submit their roadies for a chance to win an award. Well, this is prime time blooming season for this type of flower, so the Portland chapter of the American Rhododendron Society also hosts a flower show. Some families make this event an annual tradition.
I think that you should come. It's very nice, and they have a discount for you if you're on SNAP for those that are low income.
And happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, caregivers, fathers being mothers.
Well, if you missed today's event, the garden is open daily. General admission is $9. Well, here's another way to make your mom happy this Mother's Day. Maybe next year, if you're a little too late this year. Take her out for a fancy meal. This brunch at El Gaucho along the Vancouver waterfront had moms filing in all morning. Staff says the chef went all out to make sure moms and their families had exactly what they wanted.
So no rules on who you bring or how you celebrate. And I think that that works for most moms to just be in a nice, tranquil environment.
I think it's one of those things that it's all about just who you're with, and it's just kind of some good food, some good environment. But yeah, I think it's just kind of the new experiences of being a mother.
Need a nice hot pan. We got a little high proof rum.
Oh, and for dessert out there, Bananas Foster. Restaurant staff says this was a great event to have some fun and show off the beauty of the Vancouver waterfront.